teaapp is you thought it was over. It's somehow not even over. Oh my god.
This app creator just destroyed his life by creating an app that promised to protect women from dating horrible men, but it ended up allowing their private information to be leaked all over the internet, including sites like 4chan, and he's now been hit with 6 federal lawsuits.
An app designed to let women safely discuss men they date has been hacked. The app
by the way, that's a total misrepresentation. It allows women to defame, harass, and dox men against their consent with no control or awareness that it's happening.
He said today about 72,000 images have been leaked online, including pictures, photo IDs of users that were submitted during account verification process.
Good. But before we go any further into the story, we need to understand what this app does and why it was created. So you have this app called T, and it's described as the Yelp for dating. This site allowed women to, I guess, avoid terrifying online dating experiences.
You see, remember, boys, the road to hell is paved on good intentions. So the real problem with this app is that if a woman dated you and she reported it to this app, now if things didn't go well, which I'd imagine it wouldn't because you ended up in the fucking app, like let's say you got catfished. If you don't know what catfishing is, it is an instance of you going to a date after you talk online, and you have the way they take their pictures, it makes them look skinny, right? So they take their pictures where it has their face kind of like zoomed in, so that way you don't see their body. And then what happens is they try everything they can to avoid talking about their weight. Everything. And then when you bring it up, they get mad at you. Cause they're already overweight, or they're fat as fuck, bro. Like, they're huge. The amount of women that tried to catfish me online is incredible. And you know immediately because they get mad. Whenever you ask them to send a picture of their like full body, and they're like, I don't really want to do the nudes. I didn't ask for a nude. What do you look like standing up? Because you look at their profile and all it is face pictures, and you're like, And then they're like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. But they continue to text you because they're interested. But they know that if they reveal that they're bigger, that there's a good chance the conversation's going to end. And then what happens is you meet them in person, and they're gigantic hog clodhoppers. And then you call them out on it. And then you end up in this site like the teaapp with this red flag. When it boils down to is you don't want to be with somebody if you have bad eating habits. You want to be with somebody that's going to encourage you to do better with your eating habits. The last thing you want to do is put yourself in a situation where you're bouncing off of somebody with bad eating habits and you have bad eating habits, because it's just going to be a bad time. That's all there is to it. Then you end up on this site with your picture, and you get like this nasty little review with a red flag, and it pretty much ruins you as far as dating goes. So, and this is completely without consent, by the way. They take you and put you on this site, and they give like a general idea of where you live, so you can compare the picture to the profile to the location. This is so disgusting, and if a men had done this, it would have been the end of the world, brother. The double standard here is exceptionally bad, and it's so sad to see this. But you know what? You got what you fucking deserved, you fat fucking losers. That's what you get for being scumbag pieces of shit. And to give you an idea of how big this app was, apparently, if you look up a map of the teaapp and all of its users, the pins cover the entire US. That's how many people use this app. A lot of fucking people use this app. A gigantic number of women use this app.
have no problem with this as long as guys can do the same thing.
Posting photos of men and
Which
seeing
they
if
wouldn't be
anyone
able to.
else had the same
You
bad
would have a group coming together like Collective Shout that would try to get it shut down immediately.
experience with the same man.
T had marketed itself as sort of like Yelp, but for dating. So instead of dating, instead of reviewing a service, you were reviewing an actual guy that you've gone out with.
Right.
But the concern here was that you had a lot of guys who often frequent a ton of dating apps at once, and they're committing kind of the same offenses, sometimes being creepy, but sometimes being dangerous or violent with women, and word doesn't get out to enough women at the time.
Well, if they're being dangerous and violent, don't you think that you should report them on the app? Because that's a thing that you can report on the app and call the police and let them handle it instead of making a separate app altogether. Don't you think that maybe this app was a violation of privacy? Because there's a difference between having your picture taken and put on a website where you get blacklisted and actually making a dating account and having women look at it. Wouldn't you say there's a difference there? Because one of those things you obviously consented to and the other you didn't.
These guys are on so many different websites, right? So the idea that the T was saying was like, don't worry, this will be a central place, not a dating app. This is more of like a research app.
Gee, I wonder.
I mean, that's true. That's clearly, like, I don't agree with that, but that is an accurate summary of what the intent was. That's true.
What could go wrong, but it's said to be influenced by Facebook pages like Are We Dating the Same Guy? A good example of this would be a 27-year-old woman who became skeptical of her partner. She was recommended the Facebook page by close friends, only to find out he'd been posted about in a negative light by like 10 different women. So in theory, this gives women a form of protection to help them avoid bad experiences with men they're going on dates with or men they've already been.
See, that's kind of fucked up. Because, like, let's say that she was with this guy and she kept getting this bad feeling, right? But what if he was going to therapy and actually trying to change himself? And that's why she didn't have a reason, so she went online to find a reason, and she found that reason to break up with him. That's what it sounds like to me. Like, what if he was actually trying to get better and trying to do right? Like, it's just crazy to me that this is the mentality we have.
In relationships with. And while I can definitely see this app could be used for good,
I mean, I know for a fact that if this happened to a woman, it'd be like, well, she's changed, and she hasn't even been to like a place where she could get help.
Like, I can also see, wow, this app could also be used for harassment.
But
yes,
unfortunately, the thing
absolutely.
is that there's no accountability. This is the problem with this kind of stuff, is that you have girls that say stuff like this and they have no obligation to tell the truth. They have no obligation to, accurately describe what happened. And there's plenty of girls that are probably just not going to get called back on a date and they're mad about it. So then they go on this app and say bad stuff about the guy. Like, there's how many times have you seen like women that don't like somebody, and men do the same thing. It's not like women are unique in this way, but like anybody who does this, where like as soon as they don't like somebody, it's not enough for them to describe what the person did wrong. They have to go even farther than that and make up extra things that they did
Every fucking time, bro. Every fucking time. It's not just that they like ate the wrong way, it's that they threw the fork at you too. It's ridiculous.
didn't even do to make them seem worse.
Exactly.
Like,
You know why? It's because someone from the outside looking in on that conversation would immediately be like, oh, well, you're just a piece of shit. And then they have to come up with this extra mile just to justify the reason why they feel the way they feel.
That's not even the app's biggest problem, because recently the app was hacked. According to the media, passport information, driver's license, and full
Whenever they have to say that extra bit, it's because they know.
names of the women all across North America were leaked. But was it actually hacked, or was it just coded extremely poorly? Well, that's what we're going to be discussing today. So for some backstory for you, T was founded by Sean Cook in 2023 after he witnessed his mother's terrifying online dating experience. Apparently, she was being catfished over and over again.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. It's kind of crazy. Because, like, man, let me tell you what. The amount of times over the years that I've used it, nowadays the dating apps are just a joke. They're so bad now. They're terrible now. Like, they were bad the last time I used one, but now they're just so bad. They're laughably bad because all they want to do is take money from you now.
And was unknowingly.
But like, the amount of people that catfished me, like, over the years of using dating apps is disgusting. Like, to every one person that seemed the way they were, there were at least 15 that were not. This is not just a woman problem. This is a man's problem as well.
Talking to men with criminal records. So how did this app help with this problem? Well, this app allowed women to post the man's first name, age, location, and other women on the site could share their experiences and share whether the man was a potentially good or bad person, using the terms red flag or green flag.
See, this is how social credit begins. See, these people these people complain and they say, oh, we don't like China, it's oppressive, but then they go and they do this. There's really no functional difference between this and Chinese social credit system. There's not.
I saw the video in Discord. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Early users of the app had to verify with a form of KYC,
Straight up
meaning
doxing.
they
Yeah,
had
it
to
is.
upload a photo of themselves and
Say
a
thanks for the raid.
ID.
Thank
So
you.
government
Hi,
ID
guys.
and a selfie.
They had to use their government ID to log in because they wanted to make sure that it was women. You see, there's going to be something like this on a much larger scale that I'm not, I guess I should state this. I don't want there to be online ID. I don't. But the inevitable thing is that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Whether we want it or not, it's going to happen.
Themselves to
And
verify
then you're going to see more people like this getting doxxed.
their age and gender. This is because the teaapp was a woman-only platform.
That's
The
right.
uploading your identification feature was later removed at the end of 2023
I bet.
and changed to simply allow you to upload a photo of your face on the app. In their
Yeah.
terms of service, they promised that these images would be instantly removed as soon as the verification process.
Also, they lied. That's crazy. Well, I mean, why would they delete them? I mean, if they have pictures of your ID, you could sell that. It's data. There's so many countries that will gladly pay thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, for user data. Like, they're not going to delete that because they can keep it and sell it. Duh.
Then how did this happen?
Process finished. Well,
And they
apparently,
all say that too. There's so many apps that are like, even YouTube. When you get into YouTube, if you want to do like certain things, they ask for your ID verification, and then they say that it won't be kept in the system. But you know for a fact that that's still in the system.
that didn't happen. This may not seem important now, but
The least you could do is keep it in the system, so that way if I have to re-verify myself, I don't have to take another picture of my ID. You're not fooling anybody by saying that it's not going to be kept in the system. We know it's going to be in the system. Just let me reuse it if I have to renew something, okay? That's all I'm asking.
me, it plays a massive role later on in the video because every single user that signed up at the time just had their personal information leaked online.
Because you do know, so like, it's actually not that hard to figure out who is online somewhere. They already do that. They can subpoena records like that. No problem. If you have an email and you have to sign into an account, your email is tied to a name. Your name is tied to an address. They got you. That's all there is to it. If you're browsing something on a signed in web browser, they know they know what you've seen. It's not, you don't have any actual privacy online. Even if you're in a private browser, they can still see that. Anytime you Google something and it goes through your Xfinity box or your DirecTV or whatever box, and it gets uploaded to the cloud to do a search, they see all of it. They can pull it anytime they want. They don't even have to subpoena the Gmail. They can subpoena the fucking Xfinity box. Just like whenever you call somebody or you message somebody, you know that whenever you call somebody, if you say certain words, you get listed by the US government on a watch list for a certain amount of days. There is no privacy, whether you like to admit it or not. You can have whole text message records pulled from like T-Mobile or Verizon or Cricket. You can even do that with just by asking.
The teaapp suddenly went viral in 2025, reaching #1 on the App Store, with a total of over 4 million women across America using the app. And this is a...
And I say this because if you're part of something like the teaapp, be careful. Because this could happen to you. If you're watching some of these sketchy sites with all this weird shit on it, and you have to upload an ID or face verification, or you have to log in, be careful. They're watching. You don't think they are. You like to claim they're not, but they are.
That was fueled mostly by TikTok and media coverage. And I mean, it's a solid concept, so there was no doubt that it was going to go viral. But
Yeah,
here's
people like
where
the
things
idea.
start getting a little bit sketchy and the cracks start to show. Even before the so-called hack or leak online, the app was drawing a lot of controversy over privacy, defamation, and people's overall opinion of the
That's
app.
really what it's going to boil down to, is how much defamation, because it has defamation for sure. The question is how much. And what's crazy is because everyone knows the IDs of the people that use this site, it opens them up for defamation. It opens up the individuals. So I'd get a lawyer.
I think that we have a huge privacy problem on the internet right now, and I don't think anybody really cares or knows enough about it to solve it. Right now, like, we have so many people that are effectively getting their privacy leaked, misrepresented, or taken advantage of constantly online. You have websites that are dedicated to spreading your personal information and distributing it to the public in mass, trying to take private information like people's phone numbers. They are driver's licenses, not really driver's licenses, to be fair, addresses, the cars they own, their, like credit history, etc. And they're trying to put all of this stuff on the internet. And I, in my opinion, think that we need a huge overhaul of the internet privacy laws in general. Because right now, I think that we are in a very bad transitionary period between like where the internet was in 2006, where like, oh, well, you're putting your internet, you're like, the internet's like an alternate reality, right? Like nobody's using their real name. Everybody's just like, To
give you an idea, if you've seen Ready Player One, we spend as much time on the internet that they do in that game, that VR game that they played. Most people's lives are now online. Ever since COVID, even more of that's been online, because now you've got tablets, you've got students using tablets or laptops from school. You've got, people working from home now. You've got a lot of things going on where you are required to have internet. In fact, a solid majority of your life is now online, and you just don't realize it. If you're watching YouTube, or you're not like on TV, or you're playing a game even, you're on the internet.
Fucking Pussy Destroyer 420, and it doesn't really matter. But like now you have people that are using their real name, and the internet has a lot of genuine real consequences to it. And because of that, we need to have legitimate privacy laws, and we need to have these things that happen proactively. And I feel like the only time that it happens is when it's like some girl that had like revenge porn, right? Like, okay, sure, revenge porn is bad, but like, why don't we look at why are there massive databases on the internet where you can look up anybody's phone number based off of their name? Like what?
So like, I get where he's coming from with that, but phone books have been around for years. A phone book, you could find somebody's name and then look up their number. It used to be like that for years. Hell, for over 50 years, it was like that. Phone books were around for so long. They used to throw them on everybody's doorstep with the paper that they would get for free. So like, it's just kind of crazy.
Real benefit does it, like this is obviously
the only way this is going to change the only way this is going to change, by the way, with how much lack of privacy there is online, is if there is legislation passed. You see what's going on. And this is the reason why I strongly believe that Senate members should have term limits, because when you've got these old dogs up in there that don't know shit about what's going on in the real world, because they don't. And you have somebody who's newer who understands the internet a little bit better, you can start making policies for the internet. You can't do that when you've got the same sitting members. Like, some of these people have been in there for over 60 years. How long have most of the Senate members had their seats? So there's newer people that are being put in, but I still feel like the solid majority of these people are just too fucking old to understand what's going on, because most of them, like, the solid majority of them have been in there for over like, what did it say here? It said, some of them have served for decades. So it's like, we need newer people up in that bitch.
99% of the time. So like, why is there even a business model for this to begin with? And so, and this is true with addresses and everything like that, Yellow Pages. But what I'm saying is that Yellow Pages and the phone book, like, we're not in 1995 anymore.
We're not.
The world has changed. And in the same way that you did, I don't know, did you need a driver's license for riding a horse back in the day? I don't know if you did, but I certainly know you need one now. And as the world changes and it evolves, I think that so too should the laws and the regulations.
Yeah.
So no, you didn't. Exactly.
That's the problem. That's what's going on with a lot of stuff nowadays with the U.S. And I guarantee you that's the reason why the housing market is the way it is, why the cost of living is the way it is, like how everything costs so fucking much, how things keep getting higher and you're not really making as much, is because we have a bunch of rich dudes that are running the country and getting paid off by these corporations. So it's like, they're not going to put laws in effect because it affects their money. So why would they? Like, that's really what this is all boiling down to. Because what they can do, they don't want to put privacy laws on these sites because the sites can sell the user's data, and then the user data can go like a three-way split between the corporation and the, a two-way split technically between the corporation and the senators who are advocating against privacy settings online. But it's crazy because a lot of they haven't even like talked about privacy online at all.
And
so that's kind of how you know that they're either completely oblivious to it because they're not online, or they just don't care.
So that's what I'm saying, is that data is money. Exactly. And that's why the government needs to regulate the amount of privacy violations that people experience on a daily basis. And I think that one main thing that they need to do is they need to change one fundamental paradigm. Right now, almost all privacy issues on the internet are opt-out. All invasions of privacy, you should have to opt into.
Yeah,
rather than opt out of. So the default should be that you're not on these lists. And if you want to choose to be on the list, that's fine, but that's your option. This is called common sense. Yeah, and so that's really the issue. GDPR.
I agree with what he's saying.
GDPR does this? No, I know you guys in the EU do it better. You do. You do it better. We don't do, like, you guys fuck around with migration and migrants. Like, you guys have big problems with that, but you don't have problems with this. And I wish that you guys would do what Trump is doing with the migrants. And I wish.
That's my cue to get up out of there when he starts talking about that kind of stuff. Let me use the bathroom real quick. Hold on.